James, you're on mute.
All right. Sorry about that. I was double muted. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first Hurricane Francine update. This meeting will be recorded and posted on the BEOC website for other people who are not able to log in to get to view our information. So if you will give me 1 second, I will share my screen. As of the advisory 4 Alpha, the Tropical Storm Francine is approximately 550 miles southwest of the Lafayette area. It was last moving at approximately 5 miles an hour to the northeast. As we go forward, it's expected to strengthen over the next 24 hours. We're making landfall sometime in the neighborhood of 7 p.m. on Wednesday. So that means that we have roughly about 36 hours to make any finalized preparations for this storm. Now, what I'm going to share with you is some information I got from Sept. It's a little bit dated because it came out this morning. There has been some updates since then. As new information is made available, we will post it on our current operations page on the LABEOC website. As of this morning, there was a storm surge predicted to be in the neighborhood of 5 to 10 feet, anywhere from Cameron to Port Fourchon, with the highest storm surge expected in the Vermilion Bay area. With the current rainfall projected, as you can see, we can see anywhere from 6 to 8 inches of rain in the Acadiana region, with some localized heavier. Again, this is as best estimate as they could provide as of the 1100 update this morning. What that means for us with the situation with the ground over the last 7 to 10 days, we're receiving a lot of rain. With the high winds that are coming in, that are in conjunction with Francine, there's a likelihood that we could see extended damage to the electrical grid. So please plan for extended power outages up to 96 hours. Just be prepared for that. And as we saw during Hurricane Ida, if there are trees that are damaged in the area, we may see damage to the water distribution grid as well. So make sure that while you're also making preparations for extended power outages, you are making preparations for extended water outages as well. We will see, because the grounds are saturated, we will see an increased potential for flooding associated with rainfall that falls in the affected area. And please remember, and I know I'm kind of speaking to the choir here, but the rain and wind effects are going to be strongest to the east side of the storm. So if it follows the path where it comes across near the Pecan Island area, the greater impacts will be to the east of the Lafayette area, moving towards Morgan City and those areas inland from that location. But we will see banding associated with Francine, and we will see some potential for increased inland flooding due to rainfall. And as I said before, the wind impacts will be there. Current forecasts show that Francine will be somewhere in the neighborhood of a strong Cat 1 to a Cat 2 storm. That is not to diminish the fact that, 75 to 85 mile an hour winds at that point in time with saturated ground will have extended circumstances with the trees and power grids. So make sure that we're taking preparations for that as you're going forward. And as of this graphic, you saw it was 8 a.m., but the speed has slowed down since this graphic was created. What we're seeing now is most likely a landfall in the neighborhood of 7 p.m. on Wednesday evening. So really, you should have your preparations done by tomorrow evening and noon at Wednesday at the absolute latest, because we will start seeing tropical storm force effects in the afternoon of Wednesday, and you want to be in your hunker down point at that time. As of this meeting, there has not been a statewide declaration. We're supposed to have a message from the governor sometime about 4:30 this afternoon. So we should find out more about what they're going to do on a statewide declaration at that point in time. We do not have, I'm sorry, at this time, we have approximately 13 parishes that have declared a state of emergency. And that's all the information I have as far as statewide stuff. I have Cody Landry on from GoSep Ops. Is there anything that I missed?
I think you just about, can you hear me?
Yep, got you loud and clear.
Graphics did show that earliest reasonable arrival time of tropical storm force winds was just after Tuesday at 8 p.m. And then they mentioned that on the east wall of the hurricane, there is a slight chance for tornadoes, just going off that. But other than that, I think.
Okay, thank you, Cody. Appreciate it. So at this time, I'm sorry, I didn't mention this earlier. For those of you who are online, if you wouldn't mind, please put your name and organization in the chat so that we can keep a record of this and make sure that our distribution lists are updated. And I will go around the horn here in a minute, and we will go by lifelines to have any if there are any questions. So for operations and security, give me 1 second here. My apologies. All right. So if there's anybody online from safety and security, if you have any questions. All right. Communications. Any questions or concerns that need to be brought up to the statewide office? All right, hearing none, I'm just going to open it up now. So in the interest of time, is there anyone that have any questions or concerns? Please raise your hand so we can recognize you.
Hey, Jim, it's Kathy Fulton from Allen. Can't find the raise your hand feature on here right at this moment. I have a question about hours of service and weight waivers. Do you know if any of those plan to be issued and which department is responsible for that within the state of Louisiana?
Great question, Kathy. So at this time, we have not heard any declarations for weight and or hours of service. Our Louisiana Department of Transportation, LADOTD, would be the responsible secretary for that that waiver. In the past, they have come with the statewide declarations. I suspect that we will get a lot more instructions from the governor here at the 4:30 press conference. And if there's going to be any statewide declarations, and Cody, you can probably chime in on this, it will probably be sometime for tomorrow. That's just my read on what's going on.
Okay, and are those automatic with the governor's declaration?
No.
I didn't think so. That's why I was asking. They
No.
have to be specified and DOT has to issue them, right?
The governor can do it, but the Secretary of Transportation can do it as well. But again, this is probably going to be the first statewide declaration under the current administration.
Yep.
So there may be a little bit of making sure that we have all the bases covered on this. And the good thing is that we have a little bit of time to work through that one.
Okay, and then one other question about, I think you already covered evacuations, but evacuations and curfews.
Okay, so the evacuations will be handled at the parish level. We do not have any evacuations at this time. And I'm gonna have to defer to GOSEP on this one. Usually it's going to be by the parish, and there's going to be some geographic determiner that will say, hey, if you live south of Louisiana 14 or some other major landmark, that will do the evacuations. Once the evacuation is in place, then the local law enforcement is responsible for enforcing the curfew and allowing personnel back into that area. So you'll have to coordinate with whichever parish sheriff or police department is for your businesses or cover your area for the allowance back into those areas.
Thank you.
Cody, is there anything, or Chris, I know you're online. Is there anything I missed on that?
No, I think you got it.
Nope, this is Chris. You hit it on the money. The re-entry, if anything, is going to be at parish level. Right now, you're right. I know DCFS is readying some places. I don't think there's time for a pre-storm evacuation, but they are getting some things ready to hold folks if indeed post-storm somebody's community gets messed up and they need to put them somewhere as they're working on a good plan logistically on that. So appreciate that question. Good question. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other businesses that may have a question, or Shannon, is there anything in the chat that I'm missing?
No, Jim, it's all been asked.
All right. Well, in their effort of keeping everybody's time, because it is valuable at this point, if there are no further questions, look for an update from the business EOC email address when the recording is posted. You may share it. We will continue to keep the private sector advised as much as possible and as quickly as possible. And then we will do this again tomorrow at the same time going forward. And then once we move into the recovery phase, we will continue to host these until the response and initial recovery is completed. If you have any further questions, please contact us.
Real quick.
Yep. Who's that?
Hey, Jim, Dave Jones with GeoCollaborate. Just a quick question for you. If you have any additional information on the closing of floodgates and how that might impact rail transport.
The only ones that I have heard, Dave, thanks for the question. The only one that I have heard so far is in the Lafourche Parish area. And I do not think that affects any of the rail traffic going across the state. I have not heard of any closures of the floodgate system in New Orleans at this time. Cody or Chris, do you have any news on that I do not?
Yeah, Jimmy Broussard with St. Mary Parish also on the 11 o'clock call reported that they are closing some floodgates in the Morgan City area, including the Bayou Chene floodgate. It's not a railroad crossing, anything like that, but it's a major corridor for marine vessels, traffic coming in and out of Morgan City headed toward the Intercoastal Canal. So that is being done this evening. And I'm sure they put it out to all of the marine traffic, but that's a pretty big one in the St. Mary Parish, Morgan City area. Over.
Hey, for somebody who's been out of Louisiana for 30 years and in my spelling's weak now, can somebody spell Bayou Chene for me?
Yes, it's Bayou, Bayou. Shane is Chene.
Thank you.
Char-
I
yep.
got the Bayou part. It was the Shane that I wasn't sure about,
Yeah,
sir. Thank you,
That's
sir.
yes,
Hey.
sir. Yes, ma'am. That's in St. Mary Parish. Thank you.
Okay, and I do have one update to that. I'm getting a text, so this is live and in person. Tuesday, 8 p.m., they're expected to close the Flood Protection Authority gates and will reopen sometime. Now, this was earlier, so it may be adjusted, but it was Tuesday evening to Wednesday evening. So we may have to adjust those times. But more to follow on that. We will make sure that we put the updated information out. Also know that GOSEP produces a situation report that will be available for release approximately at 4:30. So same time that the governor is doing this meeting, we will do the sit rep will come in, and then we will publish that and send it out to everyone as available. So
Yep.
pending any further questions, we will close this all and give you some time back to make your final preparations. Thank you very much for your time, ladies and gentlemen. And that's all we have from the Business EOC.